is Mike Allison. I'm the village manager and village clerk. In the temporary absence of the village president, I would ask for a roll call to establish a quorum.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Here.
Trustee Williams?
Here.
Trustee Hebda?
Here.
Trustee Cook?
Here.
Trustee Marquardt?
Here.
President Byrne?
In the absence of President Byrne, is there a motion to appoint a chairman pro tem for the evening?
Yeah. So move to appoint Trustee Cook as Chairman pro tem.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Marquardt?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? President Byrne?
Okay, motion carries. Let me get settled here. Thank you. Okay. All right, we've been called to order and we've had a roll call and everybody's here, so would everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, are there any citizens wishing to address the board on something other than what's on committee of the whole? Because if it's on there, you'll get to address it at that time. Okay, seeing none. Moving right to officials report. The village president's report. We have a proclamation for recognizing Kent Overholser for dedicated service to the Summer Celebration Committee. You want to come on up here? And I'll read this.
The altar.
At the altar, yes.
It says, whereas Kent Overholser has volunteered as beverage director on the Village of Vernon Hills Summer Celebration Committee for over 22 years. Kent faithfully served 21 years in the U.S. Navy and retired as a lieutenant commander. And Kent is a member of the Masonic Temple, patron of the Eastern Star Chapter, and he is a member of the White Shrine of Jerusalem, Watchman of Shepherds. And Kent serves as an elder at the First Presbyterian Church of Libertyville. Kent's been happily married to his lovely wife, Elaine, for 57 years. And Kent and Elaine have been blessed with 3 children and 3 grandchildren. And Kent has demonstrated a keen sense of dedicated volunteerism. Now therefore be it proclaimed that Roger L. Byrne, village president, and the board of trustees do hereby thank and recognize Kent Overholser for his dedicated work in making Summer Celebration the premier event in Lake County these past 22 years, and wish him the best in the future, dated this 19th day of March, 2013.
Kent, if you like, you can speak.
We'll be happy to let you say something here.
You say a few.
Well, I certainly didn't do any of this alone. And the committee has been a really tight organization, and we've always had the support from the trustees of the village, and we certainly appreciate that. And it's been a fun time. I finally decided it's time for me to let someone else do the hard work. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kid.
Thank you very much.
Trustee Cook, if I could just say,
Yeah,
Kent,
please.
Kent is really, having been the staff liaison to Summer Celebration Committee, it's such a pleasure to work with Kent, and I'm sure Kathy and Ina would agree. We finally got Kent to come up on stage a few times, in the last few years. But normally, he's hard at work behind the bar, working with all his volunteers and getting a lot of volunteers to do a lot of work to make the whole event such a great event. And we do have a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of fun. And Kent's going to be around this year, though, he assures me. So we'll be able to transition then. But Kent, thanks, and thanks to the thousands of people that have been at Summer Celebration and enjoyed some of your beverage. Thanks.
Yeah, it's going to be different after all these years, knowing exactly who was going to be over there running everything and making sure it ran perfectly. Now we're going to have to find somebody to replace you. That's going to be difficult.
I don't think we can. I don't think it's going to be happening. Somebody to take over his duties but not replace him. There you go.
So thank you again on behalf of the village. It's great to see people give that kind of time and effort. It's fabulous. Congratulations. Okay, next item is Finance Director and Treasurer Larry Nakrin.
Just wanted to note that we've received the actuarial report from the Illinois Department of Insurance Actuary, who found us the Village Police Pension Fund to be 80.6% funded. That's opposed to our private actuary, who says we're 70.2% funded. And really, when you're talking about actuarial findings, you're talking about how costs are distributed between the present and the future. And the state actuary has us at about 38 million in liabilities, whereas the private actuary about 43 million. One of the big reasons, there are basically a couple of big reasons for that. One is the state is assuming that our assets will earn 6.75%, while we're assuming 6%. If the state is right, then we need less assets. But if the private actuary is wrong, then is right, then we need more assets. And again, the private actuary believes that the 6% figure is a more prudent figure to use. Also, the state uses the actuarial method of projected unit cost as opposed to the entry age normal method. And the projected unit credit cost method has the liability incurred later in a police officer's career. So that has the effect of pushing costs out into future years. Again, our private actuary is using more conservative methods, and I think that protects us against future funding issues. Another thing to note is the state has changed the law so that the amount that they say we have to contribute is based on a 90% funding level rather than achieving a 100% funding level. And it's just kind of a coincidence that last week the SEC identified one of the problems that the state ran into was the 1994 law, which changed their goal from 100% funding to 90% funding. So again, I recommend, and the board has, in approving the police budget, that we continue with the more conservative method of valuing the fund.
I absolutely agree.
We have to.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
By the way, we've really reached the peak of the evening with giving you that honor, so if you guys want to leave, you can. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, but I could see you looking
Okay,
for
I
the
can just imagine where
opportunity.
you're going, though.
Okay, next item, Chief of Police, St. Baldrick's event update.
I just wanted to give a little wrap-up, if you will, on the St. Baldrick's event that took place on March 9th over at Westfield. And on behalf of the police department and the community, I just want to say thank you to everyone who participated in this event. Incredible event. It was incredibly well attended. Special thanks to Mayor Roger Byrne, Trustee Tom Cook, and Trustee Mike Marquardt, who graciously volunteered their hair for this event. Also to Officer Jim Cook, who organized this event, And special thanks to Officer Sharon Joseph and to Jessica Schwartz, who really stepped out and, they did a lot by having their heads shaved. Our goal this year was to try to raise $10,000. As of this moment, we are up over $15,000, and I believe there's still some pledge money that we're still waiting to come in. So on behalf of everyone, I just wanted to say thank you. It just goes to show what everyone can do when they put their heads together. I know it was bad.
Pun was
That's why I didn't,
intended,
that's why I
correct?
didn't
Yeah.
lead off with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you to the police department for putting that on. It's a great cause. Jim Cook, Officer Cook, did a marvelous job, and Sharon Joseph, she and her whole family doing that was quite inspiring.
It really was. And the DJs really kept the crowd involved and got everyone involved, and it kept everyone's attention. Last year, we were down at the end, right in front of Macy's, but because of the Easter Bunny, we were moved down closer to Center Court, which actually turned out to be a much better location.
Oh, yeah.
There were probably maybe 300 to 400 people at the height of it, on both levels, standing around watching, and a lot of people got involved and donated money. Like I said, our goal was $10,000, and right now we're up over 15. So thank you to everyone who participated and everyone who came by to support the event.
Super. You see the mayor point?
Okay, thanks, Jim. All right, nobody else on staff has a speaking part tonight? Okay, then next item is omnibus vote agenda. Is there a motion to approve items A through I?
Trustee Cook?
Yes.
Could I ask item H be pulled?
Okay.
And that would be considered, we'd have that before you on the 2nd of April.
Okay,
So it won't be voted on tonight.
okay, so
Thank you.
items A through G and I. H is pulled.
Which is fine.
Is there a motion to that extent?
So move.
Second?
Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, a roll call, please.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Motion carries.
Roger's here. That's right.
Okay. All right. Before we move into the unfinished business then, I'll let him get settled. We can go ahead and move along here.
I think he wants to.
Unfinished business, approval of the Kemper voucher list of bills dated March 19th, 2013, in the amount of $10,633.16. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay. Comments or questions? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Abstain.
Okay, motion carries. And I will turn the meeting over to His Honor.
No, we got all that Westfield stuff to go through. All the Westfield stuff to go through, yeah.
Unfinished B.
Yeah.
Traveling by yourself, huh? Somebody's got some questions. On the side.
Item B.
Okay. All right. Okay, approval of village board minutes of March 5th, 2013. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Motion is second. Comments, questions, corrections, additions? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mine's being moved.
Approval of special village board minutes of March 13th, 2013. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second?
Any comments or questions? Corrections? Deletions? If not, roll call.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Motion carries. Our Westfield,
It's on there.
Yeah, okay.
There's 5 separate.
There's a bunch of them.
Okay.
The one I'm concerned about is
D, approval of passage of ordinance 2013-013, an ordinance granting approvals for the site landscaping and architectural plans to Westfield LLC to allow expansion and remodeling of Westfield Hawthorn Shopping Mall, generally located at the intersection of Route 21, Milwaukee Avenue, and Route 60, Town Line Road, in the village of Vernon Hills, Lake County, Illinois. Are the, anybody from the petitioners here?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this just attorneys?
No.
Is there a representative from Westfield?
Yes.
Westfield there, Bob.
And what's your name?
Bob Coates, K-O-Y-S.
Okay, where do you office at?
Out of the Skokie office.
Okay. All right. Okay, is there a motion to approve?
What, G?
It's D.
I'm sorry, D.
He's the end. Yeah, so made.
Is there a second?
Motion to approve or second it?
Okay, so we have a second?
Yes.
Any comments or questions?
Your Honor, very quickly, the 5 ordinances that you're going to consider tonight, in your packet, you have copies of the ordinance. I would note that we, in working with the petitioner's attorney and along with Dave and Buster's attorney and our attorney, there were a handful of corrections that were made, both numbering, some spelling issues, and a couple of additions to Exhibit C. It did not change the intent or anything that you acted upon. It was just some errors that I made as a part of the drafting of the ordinances, so that the ordinance that you will sign at the next meeting will have those corrections reflected in it. I just want to make sure that everybody was aware of that.
Okay. All right, with that said, this is, I don't necessarily, I'd like to say this means it's a done deal, but I'm not going to that extent tonight, right? We're coming pretty far, but,
Closest we've been in 9 years.
Yes.
9+ years.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. This is taking longer than bringing the Nike site into town. I thought that was an epic.
What do
Nike
you think
site,
about that?
no, Nike site really started in earnest at about 93, 94, after Clinton did his thing. But anyway, okay, great. If there's no comments or questions, roll call.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
For the record, I'd like to vote on this one. Aye. So you can call Mr. Genovese, and of course, I talked to him yesterday, so. Next is E, approval and passage of ordinance 2013-14, an ordinance granting certain approvals to Westfield LLC related to the special use permit for a planned unit development with variations and signage plans for the Westfield Hawthorn shopping property, generally located again at Milwaukee and Route 60 in Vernon Hills, Lake County. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and seconds, comments or questions? Roll call then.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. F, approval and passage of ordinance 2013-015, an ordinance granting approval of special use permit to allow Westfield LLC to locate restaurants serving alcoholic beverages at various locations within Westfield Hawthorn Shopping Mall, located again at Route 21 and 60 in the village of Vernon Hills, Lake County, Illinois.
This is F.
015.
This is F.
F.
This is
Yeah.
one
Okay.
you don't like.
Motion to approve.
There's a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments or
That's not
questions?
really
Which
bad.
restaurants are we referring to here?
They're just generalized locations at this point. There's no specific restaurants that have been identified as of yet.
Yeah, and this would be when we say, I mean, is it more than two?
Yeah, it depends on what they do in the new edition. It also includes the former Ruby Tuesdays. It codifies the All-Star Sports location, and the Dave and Buster's Smash Burger or hamburger joint place there at the southeast entrance to the mall.
And potentially 4 or 5 others upstairs then?
Right, yes.
It says on the upper level, yes.
Yeah, which of course, you know, they'd still, the owners would have to still come in for their approvals. Right. Okay, there's a motion and a second roll call.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, approval and passage of ordinance 2013-016, an ordinance granting approval of special use permit to allow Westfield LLC to locate an entertainment use movie theater serving alcoholic beverages within the theater facility at Westfield Hawthorn Shopping Mall, located again at Route 21 and Route 60 in the village of Vernon Hills, Lake County, Illinois. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Any comments or questions? Yeah, I just have one. You know, again, John Genovese, I talked to him yesterday, and he said, I guess they're dangerously close to inking the lease. I hope this time it's beyond close. All right, roll call.
Trustee Williams?
No.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. H, approval and passage of ordinance 2013-017, an ordinance granting approval of a special use permit and certain other approvals to allow Westfield LLC to locate a restaurant serving an alcoholic beverages, Dave and Buster's, at Westfield Hawthorn Shopping Mall located at routes 60 and 21 in the village of Vernon Hills, Lake County, Illinois. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Comments or questions? Roll call.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, gents, forge forward.
Absolutely. Forward to getting it underway.
I'd like to get sparked up about it one time, you know?
Yeah, next meeting.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. This is, you know, that was the, you know, I think the expansion of the Hawthorn Shopping Center, which is approximately a $40 to $50 million improvement. So, with village participation, I might add. So we're kind of like partners in a strange way, right? Okay. All right, next is new business communications. I just want to, anybody got anything? No? I just want to say that, you know, we're obviously, you know, in an election season, and you have the local newspapers that you can access online for the trustee candidate's profile, and one is the Vernon Hills Patch. I don't know if have you guys done anything at the Vernon Review? And then I know I saw it in the Daily Herald today. So, you know, you can access that online. So, and I encourage people to do that to see everybody's answers. Okay. Any other new business communication? All right. Do we have to come back to board for any reason?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting?
Closed
Do we
session?
have to go to closed session?
No, sir.
Okay. So is there a motion to adjourn the village board meeting and go into committee of the whole?
So made.
Second then.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. All right, I call the committee of the whole meeting to order. Okay. First item is approval of the committee of the whole minutes of March 5th, 2013.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Comments or questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Schultz, Trustee Schwartz,
Aye.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Hebda,
Aye.
Trustee Cook,
Aye.
Trustee Markwart,
Aye.
President Vernon.
Aye, motion carries. Next is approval of special committee of the whole minutes of March 12th, 2013. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments or questions? If none, roll call, please.
Trustee Schwartz,
Aye.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Hebda,
Aye.
Trustee Cook,
Aye.
Trustee Markwart,
Aye.
Trustee Schultz, President Vernon.
Aye, motion carries. Item 3, request from on the border for approval of facade renovations to their facility located at 335 North Lake Parkway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can give you a brief summary as the applicants come up here. The renovation includes upgrading and/or repainting various architectural components on all 4 sides of the exterior building. Some of the upgrades include repainting and refacing the existing signage. There'd be no additional signs proposed except for a couple of directional signs that say pickup and such. The existing awnings would all be removed and replaced with wood-framed awnings, and the roofing material would be changed to that of a metal product that would have a rusted look. The patio railing would also be replaced. The new material would be wrought iron, and the color would be black. The lattice work under the patio would be replaced as well with vertical slatted wood trim. And finally, the existing faux shutters and barn doors on the north facade would be removed and replaced with horizontal siding that matches the existing siding on the building. Copy of the color renderings are attached to your packet, along with a letter from Scott Windle summarizing the changes. And for tonight's meeting, if the committee feels the facade renovations are appropriate, then staff should be directed to prepare an ordinance approving the changes subject to the conditions outlined in your packet. And again, the applicant is here to answer any questions that you have.
Who's works for on the border?
My name's Devin Kyle. I'm the Senior Vice President of Development for On the Border,
Okay, and where are you from?
Dallas, Texas.
Okay, and this gentleman?
I'm Forrest Cardwell. I'm with ID Studio 4. We're the architect of record.
Okay. Okay, any comments or questions from the committee? Trustee Cook?
I think it's a nice upgrade. I mean, refurbishing the front of it and everything, it looks nice. It improves what was, starting to age a little bit because you guys have been around a while, so we appreciate the update.
How long have you been open in Vernon Hills?
Approximately 15 years.
Yeah, I
if
think
memory
so.
serves.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a
Well,
while.
that's good. You outlasted, Hooters.
Trying to see how we feel about that, but we've always been really happy to be in the village, and we have a good business there.
Outlasted Hooters.
Pretty well.
Oh, that's good.
We think that what we have planned really upgrades the guest experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks great.
Okay, well, I mean, is there a motion to approve?
So made.
In a second?
Second.
Trustee Hebda?
I just wanted to comment, I like what you're doing to the outside patio. I think that's kind of gone a little bit by the wayside, and it's actually a nice area to go and sit outside, probably one of the biggest areas in the village. So thank you for putting the wrought iron in. Will you have to close the restaurant for some of the renovations, or will you be able to keep it open while you do your work, or what are your plans?
First of all,
for
thank you very much for your comments. And second of all, no, it will be what we call a live remodel, so it will not close.
Okay,
But you're right, it introduces an earth tone color palette to the exterior, a wrought iron railing around the patio, and really upgrades
great.
the exterior and interior as well.
make it nice. Good, thank you.
And you won't have to worry about people wanting to sit outside for a while now that we're in midwinter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all spring.
We're going backwards.
We are going backwards.
Would you, don't you have some kind of siding plastic siding or?
Nodding.
Right, yeah, you put up a plastic covering.
It's covered while
Windbreaker.
we do what work we can do,
Oh, I thought
awaiting
you
the
had
decision
it
of the
out
village.
there even in the
No.
cooler
No.
weather.
No, sir.
Okay. All right, okay, there's a motion and a second, right?
No, you don't need ice cream margaritas.
Is there a motion and a second?
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Williams,
Aye.
Trustee Hebda,
Aye.
Trustee Cook,
Aye.
Trustee Markwart,
Aye.
Trustee Schultz, Trustee Schwartz,
Aye.
President Byrne.
Aye, motion carries.
Thanks for your consideration.
Thank you.
Okay, consideration of a recommendation from Zoning Board of Appeals, a sign variation for Baxter Credit Union, 340 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The sign in question will be located adjacent to Milwaukee Avenue and would replace the existing sign. The proposed height of 8 feet and size of 50 square feet would comply with the sign code. The proposed setback of 10 feet would also be in compliance with the code. The portion of the sign that requires the variation would be the automatic changing copy, or in this case, electronic LED. And that's a variation that's being considered before you tonight. It should also be noted that BCU is proposing a sign adjacent to Lakeview Parkway. That sign fully complies with the sign code and no variations are required in connection with that sign. This matter, again, was before the village board for consideration at their January 22nd for concept review. The petitioner received comments from the committee and then was directed to the zoning board for a public hearing to consider a variation, and that hearing did take place before the ZBA on February 21st. At that meeting, the petitioner testified that the property cannot yield a reasonable use in return if the variation is not granted, because feedback from customers indicates they are not aware of the products and services fully offered by BCU. Further, the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances because, unlike a typical credit union, BCU has expanded beyond its membership and is now available to the entire community. This new sign would help convey that message. And finally, the petitioner stated that the variation, if granted, would not alter the essential character of the neighborhood because the sign in all other respects would comply with the sign code. There was no one at the hearing that spoke in objection to the request. After review and discussion, the zoning board recommends approval of a variation to allow a ground-mounted automatic changing copy sign, which is otherwise not permitted. Upon roll call, the vote went 5 in favor with none against. So it was unanimously recommended for approval. For tonight's meeting, if the committee feels that the variation is appropriate, then staff should be directed to prepare an ordinance approving the variation, subject to the sign being installed in accordance with the plans before you tonight, and also in accordance with the site plan and landscape plan that's attached to your packet. And the petitioner's
What is the
here.
setback of, the sign from the sidewalk that I'm looking at?
The existing sign?
No, the sign I'm looking at in the picture here.
Well,
The message sign.
The sign will be, the sign that's shown in the picture shows it slightly less than 10 feet, and that was pointed out to the petitioner. They've agreed that the new sign will be set back 10 feet. There's also a 10-foot easement there, so there's no way it could be within 10 feet of the property line. The existing sign, we believe, and we're not sure, encroaches into that 10 foot. So the new sign will be slightly further back than the existing sign.
Just 10 feet back from what? From the sidewalk?
From the property line,
Which is,
not necessarily right inside the sidewalk in this case, it's set back a little bit farther, but generally the property line is just to the inside of the public sidewalk.
Well, is this generally inside the line of the public?
Well, the sidewalk kind of curves.
Meanders?
So generally, yeah, it is, but the sidewalk doesn't run parallel with the property line. So what we'll,
Pretty straight from here, but it jags what, when you get past the sign?
here.
According to the picture.
yeah.
I'm just looking at the big picture.
I know,
Yeah,
but this
okay.
one
You
is
can see it.
jogging right there
If-
in front
Oh,
of the
okay.
sign.
Yeah, if you saw a survey, you'd see the
So it's
sidewalk.
So it'll be a little wider there?
Nope, it'll be closer to the sidewalk.
No, where
Oh, with the
the
jog,
picture
yeah.
you're showing with
Yeah.
the jag.
Just past those figures, it's a little wider.
So what we'll do is we'll ask that a surveyor go out there to locate the property line and locate where the foundation will be installed by the concrete contractor. That way we could be assured that it's 10 feet off the property line. Because it's really hard to find the property line in this case. That's what we'll do to make sure it's
Is
properly
it hard,
placed.
Dave can't even find it?
Dave could find it.
Oh, yeah, that's the right answer.
Little piece of string and a ruler.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got it made.
Not like me looking for my property line with my neighbor. Okay. All right, trustee Hebda.
I love what you've done. I think that you probably brought in something so professional and so nice. Thank you for the landscaping, and I will make a motion to approve.
Second it?
Motion and a second. Now, who are the petitioners here tonight? I know this is North Shore Signs. You are,
Yes, I'm Jill Salmons. I'm
What-
Jill Salmons.
yeah,
I'm the Manager of Public Relations and Communications for BC.
okay. Okay. And Valentine couldn't make it tonight, huh?
Valentine's basement flooded.
Really?
Apologies. Yeah.
So he doesn't have battery backup?
He doesn't get paid enough. We're not for profit.
Man, don't go there. A banker poor mouthing to the peasants. Okay. Yeah. Get out the violins.
That's not gonna work.
All right. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
President Byrne?
I don't like signs.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, thanks. All right, next is request for outdoor merchandise display and sales permit for Michael's, 701 North Milwaukee Avenue. I might add, most of these have been before us before, right?
What?
Yeah, this one, Mr. Mayor, has been before you. It was at the November 20th meeting, and as part of the review and discussion, concerns were raised about the placement of the display bins, in particular the walkway that leads from the parking lot to the main entrance. So in response to these concerns, Michael's has modified their plan and is now requesting further consideration from the board.
Well, in this real picture here, I mean, what, is that where they are, or they push further back?
Well, where they would be is, they would be under the canopy directly against the wall of the building in front of Michael's.
Well, you're looking, this,
And, well, the drawing is a little different than the picture we got. The picture we got
yeah,
shows...
the picture wasn't a real good
Yeah.
picture, because it looks like it's on top of the pillar.
Well, it,
Oh, the picture was only meant to show you what the bins look like.
right.
And then the drawing,
with the what?
hopefully helps you understand where they'd be
Because
located.
that was one of the things we discussed last time you were here, was that where the columns are, there has to be a gap
There's a
between the...
4-foot space between the
Yeah.
bin and the column.
Yeah.
4 foot? Okay.
Yeah.
And the
So it's
bins-
actually gonna be like the drawing.
bins will be flush against the store, or are they gonna be the little stair step like there? in
No, the
picture?
bins would be flushed against the store windows.
Okay. All right,
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just if it helps, I went out there and physically measured everything,
good.
the rectangular and the square columns, just to make sure that we had that 6-foot clearance. Once they put them out there, we'll go out again and make sure we've got proper clearance so that people can walk by.
Well, and is there any other site that's asked for year-round ability to display?
Mariano's.
They can't put fruit out there.
But they're a grocery store,
That's correct.
and this is a craft store, and I'm sorry, I just feel like you've cluttered the whole facade, and then we're gonna have everyone else from Best Buy to whoever wants to, from TJ Maxx, say, please let us put some things out there. I appreciate what you're trying to do, and I know you want to market this, but I just don't like to see all the flowers, the sponges, the buckets. You've got an inside area where people come in. Somehow you've got to like figure out how to do it within the store. I just can't support this one. I didn't like it in the old location. I don't like it in the new location. It just clutters the whole scape of that whole shopping plaza, which we've worked very hard to try and clean up and do some good things. So I can't approve it. I from this chair.
You know, we do understand you guys have standards and they're very high. You don't want clutter. You want lookability.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is by putting the displays where they are now, there is a landscaping in front of it also. So from the main road and the drive, they will be hidden. So basically, it's when the people walk up to the door, they can see what kind of specials we have. They can see the seasonal items. They can see the seasonal signs like Halloween, yard
I
displays
know, I
and things,
appreciate,
so.
but still, it's whoever walks along there, it just doesn't sit right with me. I wish there was a way that you could do it inside that first area when you walk into your store, but I know you've got some other
Shopping carts.
shopping cart, but that goes beyond, you go beyond that, and maybe there's a way to change it, but personally, I just can't.
What I was actually referencing, what is, we allow outdoor displays, what months, April to October? Under our ordinance?
We allow it April 1st to September 30th.
Right. And that was a variance request to do this year round.
That's correct.
That's
part
all,
of-
I mean, I don't have a problem
That's the second part of the request.
putting the, you know, the bins out there during the allotted time. I just threw that out there for the board's discussion. Trustee Cook?
Two things. One, with the change, I don't have a problem with it because when I went out there and looked, it does have the very large, almost like grasses and that are in front. You really
Right.
can't see these from as you drive by. I'm not 100% sold on the year-round, though. I'm not sure that midwinter.
And I'm pretty sure I can go back to the bosses
Yeah.
and say, you know, we'll take
But I
the
also
September-
understand that outside of our April to October, or April to September, that your type of merchandise is probably real important both at around Halloween, October-ish, and again around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So if we could, my proposal would be to go on the second part, instead of year-round, go maybe April to, say, December 1.
I'm
or-
going to say go to holidays in a minute, so be careful.
Yeah,
No, yeah, you're gonna go into,
what would be an acceptable,
Holidays.
November 30th?
Oh, what about Christmas?
Christmas, you get ready to do Christmas.
That's why I said maybe you
But
want to go
winter
to
people-
holidays.
I mean, winter people could be,
Maybe
No,
not
well,
go
look,
to
our
holidays.
December is better than our March.
well, yeah.
In a way, it's better than March.
Maybe go to December.
Well,
Well-
what about a couple of weeks around the holidays? April
Do
through,
a
April through
s-
September,
April to
and
September.
then a couple of weeks around
Between,
Thanksgiving and a couple of
holidays.
weeks around Christmas.
Christmas time.
but you need to understand that people who are crafters want that stuff before.
They want it
They're
before.
going in September to buy stuff for
Christmas.
Thanksgiving.
We're already getting our summer stuff
Right,
in,
you're
so-
already doing your stuff, right. You're
Okay.
just, you've got people that are
And
going.
what about April 1 to December 30?
Well, so
So
wait,
there's a
what
break.
are the standards, though, of what they can, what it looks like when they put stuff out? Because,
I think that's what that picture was all about.
well, if we're already saying that they can do outdoor displays, what are our standards going to be? I think we need to have some kind of standards, and I'm not sure I like those pictures.
And I believe, I
Those
don't
are
know
our
of last
standards.
year, there was a number of display areas and they were cut down inside, so I don't know if, I don't know what it was of last year. Last year, we had them down that main front,
Right.
road that you see, the main entrance. And how many were there? At that time, we had about 9, and the thing is, we did have a replenishment manager that was very ambitious. She's been, not removed, she's been transferred to a different store. I've talked to our store because I know how important standards are to you guys. I've lived in the community for a long time. I've talked to our managers, I've talked to our regional guy. He would agree, they all agree, we have to keep your standards, so that's why we moved them back behind basically all the landscaping. We're asking for about 9 or 10 against that wall. It's a 69-foot wall, and the bins are 2 feet by 4 feet.
So do we have standards right now?
For one clarification, there's 8 bins shown on the site plan before you that are being requested. As far as the standards, any outdoor merchandise display permit requires approval from the village board. One of the requirements in the code is that they be on a sidewalk. And as far as what can be displayed on the sidewalk, that's under the board's,
Review.
as part of your consideration to approve it, that's something for the board to consider. The one exception to that, the one thing that's allowed to be put in a parking lot is landscaping display. And that requires annual approval from the board every year. That's why Home Depot comes back here every year. Whereas a typical outdoor merchandise display sales permit requires, in this case, the request for Michael's, has to be on the sidewalk, but the code doesn't specify what type of merchandise can and can't be displayed when you're on the sidewalk.
Or what it's being displayed in or on?
The code, it's not specifically identified. The board can certainly place certain conditions as part of the approval, but there's nothing specified in the code.
I
Very loose.
throw my
2 cents worth, and I think actually too that if this comes forth is that we should probably end up doing it just on a year-to-year basis. Every time they're going to bring something out, it should come back to board every year.
No.
The board could, in this case, make a condition of, it's not in the ordinance, but if the board wishes, they could place a condition that Michael's gets a 1-year approval as a test run, and then a year from now, if they want to continue outdoor merchandise display, they'd be required to come back to the board for another approval.
I feel better with that.
Yeah.
I could do that, and I'd also like to limit the number, I'd like to reduce the number of displays from 9 to,
Well, it shows
Well,
8.
I see 8 on
It
the,
shows 8.
on
well, you
the.
said
Yeah,
8 to 9, so you want
yeah.
8. You want 8?
If we could, that would
Do
be
you
great.
do 6?
6.
We'll take 6.
And you'll get that, by doing that, it moves it
Get rid
away
of
from the
1,
columns
get rid of that
altogether.
1, number 1 way at the end there,
Okay.
Yeah.
and kind of bring them together, and you got your door space here, let's keep that clean and open for people walking in and give you 6, and let's see how it goes. And potentially, if you have a better way of showing your merchandise versus these bins, investigate what you can do to make that look a little more aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
All right, we could work on
If you
that.
could work on that, that would be great.
Sounds good.
All right, so is there a motion to approve with those caveats?
So made.
For 1 year,
For 1 year.
for 1
For,
year.
for 1
Second.
year.
This would allow them to display year-round.
No,
Yeah.
did we say that?
No, we didn't say.
Okay, so it'd be April 1st through what date?
December
Tom, you
30th?
s- Yes.
September 30th.
No, December.
No, December.
December.
December, you
Okay.
gotta go, yeah.
Well, that's a variation from the ordinance. Okay. Does everybody concur with that?
I will concur.
For
So
1
it's a
year.
motion to
Okay.
approve from April 1 to December 30th, conditioned upon that if Michael's wants to do this again next year, they have to first gain approval from the village
Right,
board.
we wanna look,
And that also that only 6 bins be allowed to be displayed rather than 8.
Then 9. Yeah.
Or
And we're
whatever.
hoping it
6
we're
period.
more aesthetically pleasing than it is.
and let's see what you could do.
Yes.
See what you can do to,
Since you're in charge.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Is everybody clear on that? We have a motion and a second?
Yes.
Yes.
Roll
Second.
call.
Second, I was second.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
aye?
President Byrne?
All right, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
you.
take care. All right, next is a request for outdoor merchandise display and sales permit for
goes
Home
another one.
Depot, 493 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as I was saying, because this is merchandise that's displayed in the parking lot, it requires annual review and approval from the village board. The display area, as it was last year, would be located within a portion of the parking lot adjacent to the drive aisle in front of the garden center. It would be really in exactly the same location. The size would be
It's the same.
as last year, which was the expanded version. It would be 96 by 239 feet.
That empty.
Stop signs would be located, as they were last year, to slow down vehicles that are using the drive aisle adjacent to the garden center. And there would also be cones placed in the median. A white picket fence would be placed around the perimeter, again, same as last year. And finally, merchandise would be limited to live goods such as flowers, trees, and shrubs. The application, along with the site plan and pictures, are attached to your packet. And for tonight's meeting, if the committee feels that the temporary use is appropriate, then a motion directing staff to prepare a resolution approving the outdoor merchandise and display sales permit is suggested, subject to the conditions outlined in your packet. And these are the same conditions that were placed in previous years. And then I just have one other note. One of the things you probably noticed are the hoses that run across the access drive aisle, and they're a little, we had a discussion before the meeting. Home Depot will be applying to Lake County for a permit because there's a fire hydrant right there, right where the display area is. So they can get a permit, they'll get a meter and a backflow device, and then we don't have to, and they can hook into that fire hydrant and then we don't have to look at those
That'd be
hoses
nice.
going
Well,
across the
maybe
driveway.
Not so much that, you probably end up, the repair had to be unbelievable.
Yeah,
Because
this is the first year I've been in this store, but I've been in 10 different locations. And to see the hydrant right there is very exciting because it's difficult to get the carts over and shopping, and it's, the cost is one thing. But it's exciting to know that I can maybe get a meter and I don't have to disrupt any of the cones in the drive-through and the foot traffic and the customers, everybody alike. It would just be wonderful. So I'm going to work for that.
Well, I have a motion to approve. The display, I think, was
You did a
done
great job
extremely well.
last year.
So.
Yeah.
There's a motion and a second. Comments or questions, trustee Cook?
No, this, and Mike, as you said, this is basically the same as last year with just those minor tweaks in it, so.
Yeah, that's correct. It's exactly
Do
the
you
same.
want to state your name for the record, please?
Oh, my name is Drew Munson.
Okay. All right, so there's a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
President Byrne?
All right, motion carries. Okay. Request for an outdoor merchandise display and sales permit. No, outdoor dining and seating establishment permit for the All-Stars on Ward located at Westfield Hawthorn Shopping Center, 506 Hawthorn Center. And your name, please?
Good evening, once again, John Morabi on behalf of the licensees. I'm the attorney.
And who are the licensees?
The licensee is Pure Mountain Company doing business as All Stars on Board. It's a
Okay,
restaurant.
are any of them here tonight?
I have the owner and the general manager and assistant manager here as well. Would you like them to step up? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't care, yeah.
More the merrier.
In case we gotta ask a question.
Sure.
And who's gonna be the manager?
The general manager is Jihad Hattar, just present to my right.
Yeah.
Renee Heisner, which is the assistant manager at the location, and Jocelyn Alfara is the owner of the corporation.
Okay, all right, okay. Any trustee Cook?
Like in looking at the diagram, this is basically the same outdoor seating that McCarthy's had there. Is there any change to it, really?
No, there's no change. Well, the size of the patio remains the same. They're changing the decorative railing, and it's an aluminum black colored railing that was already approved by the board as part of the facade renovation.
Right.
Otherwise, it remains completely the same.
Same seating.
All right, then motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further comments or questions? If none, roll call.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Motion carries. And you're their lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, don't charge them that much for this meeting tonight.
Give us your earlier.
Will do.
You should get a package
You know,
deal.
come on. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Welcome to town.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, next is, let's see, proposed amendment of Chapter 3 of the Code of Ordinance to create a new liquor license classification for an entertainment use, the AMC movie theater.
Thank you,
Is
Your
this
Honor.
actually for them?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Because we don't have a classification, that's why it's the Class M for movie theater. so to
Okay.
speak.
Oh, I got you. Very clever.
Okay, liquor license synergy, I guess, so. In your packet is a memo from myself with regards to the creation of a Class M liquor license for the movie theater. Basically, this license is consistent with a similar license that Mount Prospect adopted for the AMC Theater at Randhurst. And the premise of this license is that alcohol service would be permitted at the bar only, that alcohol could be consumed only by persons wearing an appropriate wristband that would be identified, or that would identify them as of the proper age. That wristband would be dispensed or distributed by a person who has Bassett training, and only Bassett training. There would be no alcohol service or delivery in the theater itself. It would be, drink sizes would be limited to 12 and 20-ounce containers, which would be of a different design than your typical pop or soda pop or water cups that you would get. That it would be one drink per person, so the chief couldn't walk in here and buy 4 drinks for his 4 compadres. They'd all have to come out together. Okay, 5, sorry.
You're talking about 5?
5. Oh, you and 4, right, it makes 5, right?
The size of the bar area would be limited as shown in the plans, and that basset training would be required for everyone associated with the alcohol service. Again, typical of what we would require for a bar in a restaurant. The proposed annual license fee would be $2,000. There would also be a $300 application fee. Again, that's consistent with how we operate. I've had a chance to share this ordinance with the Westfield's staff and attorney, and also AMC's attorney who handles liquor licensing. The AMC attorney has indicated that they can operate as proposed. She'll get me some additional comments with regards to that, and I anticipate that there may be an additional comment or two that will be inserted in the ordinance based on any further discussions with AMC. But they are supportive and can operate as proposed under this new classification. So staff's requesting your direction tonight on the proposed language, and if you feel it's appropriate, we'd request that an ordinance be provided directing the staff to prepare the necessary ordinance to amend Section 312 to add the new classification as included in my memorandum to the committee. And I can answer any questions. I've also talked with the chief about this and his experiences with Mount Prospect, and if you have questions, he's able to answer those also.
Trustee Williams.
No, 2 questions. One, I'll let you answer the first. What did you find out?
I have to admit, this is probably the one thing of the whole project over at Westfield that I gave the most thought to.
Right.
So I did check with a couple of the other movie theaters, AMC movie theaters in the Chicago area, and I did call Mount Prospect myself, and I did go and visit their theater. I'm very comfortable with this. They've had no problems whatsoever enforcing this. That plus the fact that there's only one way in and out of the movie theater area, being the escalator and the elevator. They're in close proximity. There isn't a lot of outlying stairways and things, except for emergency exits. I'm reasonably comfortable. I'm very comfortable with this.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortable.
I think the wristband was something that was added. Am I correct in that? I don't remember discussing that before.
We never had that.
Well, we've only had limited conversations here with regards to this, and really it was something that we looked at in trying to make sure that service is well regulated, and so there isn't going to be any kind of tomfoolery, so to speak, of being able to serve an underage person, and that was one way that has seemed to be, or has been successful in other locations. And that's why we thought we would bring it forward for you all to consider. And then if you're okay with it, then we'll incorporate it in the ordinance and go, so.
Well, as you know, I agree with the chief. That was my biggest thing I was hung up on, but I do like the idea of the wristband. I have one question regarding it, though. Is it a wristband that's slipped on and off, or is it crimped? It's put on and crimped. I like that better. Thank you. And thank you, Chief, for looking into that for us. I appreciate it.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second?
It's going to be Class M.
Class M.
Okay. So this is a proposed amendment of Chapter 3 of the Code of Ordinance to create a new liquor license classification for entertainment use, principally AMC movie theater, Class M license. Is there a motion and a second?
And this is to direct the staff to prepare the necessary ordinance, and
Right.
it'll come back to you.
Yeah, does first and second agree?
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, proposed amendment of Chapter 11 mechanical vending machines and amusement devices to add 2 Class B proprietary licenses. Are these principally for Dave and Buster's?
The one licenses. We actually are over our limit. So it's to get us up to compliance and then add the additional license for Dave and Buster's. And that's basically in a nutshell.
Okay.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further comments or questions on this? Staff have any further comments on this?
Yeah, this is just the direct preparation of the ordinance, and it'll come back.
Okay, and direction of to prepare the ordinance. Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Next is the
Thank you.
2000, yeah. Next is the 2000, completion of the 2010, 2013-14 fiscal budget, which we started, what now, 3 weeks ago or a month ago? I don't know. Yeah, it was probably longer.
2 weeks ago. The first item is item I, which is the capital budget for $666,732. And, you know, Dave had previously presented the capital budget, so this is really just for, I guess, any questions on that that have arisen since then.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Public Works.
there are any comments or questions on this particular line item?
Do you need that?
I got it.
Okay,
Larry, hold on. I apologize. I'm kind of shuffling paper. I'm kind of shuffling paper. Okay. We're at P.
No, aye. We started.
PI. P.
P, I think.
What's
No.
P? No.
Which one are you on, Larry?
Aye.
Oh, item I.
Aye.
Okay, you jumped to I. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
Hold on a second. Okay, capital sub-fund budget.
Thank you.
See you, Chief. Hey, Judy.
Okay, so the total budget amount is $666,800.
Actually, 666,732. The resources identified for it is 666,800.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and the principal increases for the engineering for Hawthorn, Parkway and Lakeview?
Right, that's correct.
Okay. All right. That's part of an overall improvement. It'll involve 60 in Lakeview. It'll involve, what, Fairway and 60? It'll involve Phillips and Fairway? What am I missing?
Phillips and Lakeview, then you go north of 60 to Hawthorn and Lakeview, so all of those intersections.
Yeah, this is one we've been working on now for how many years?
I believe it's, well, ever since we extended Fairway Drive north was the original Phase 1 study.
Okay.
Been a while.
Yeah. Well, we're
More
trying-
recently,
and
the
we're
last
hoping to
5
get it
years.
funded, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, great. Now, this would increase, you know, just improve the road handling and stacking at all those different intersections. Would that involve adding any actual lanes too?
Yes, at each intersection, really the enhancements are going to be at each intersection, better signalization, more capacity at the intersections. So it is a widening project too.
Yeah, so like for example, well, 60 and, I get your Fairway technically, but it really turns into Lakeview. We'd have a true right-hand, turn lane.
I'm sorry, which intersection was that?
Well, let's go 60 and Lakeview,
Yes,
okay? We would have right there at Portillo's, we'd have a genuine right-hand turn lane.
yes,
Right.
yes.
And the same thing coming south. for
Absolutely,
example.
same thing
Instead of two
southbound.
left turn lanes on Lakeview to go east on 60, there'd be a right turn lane.
Yeah, and if you go north of that intersection to Hawthorne, that intersection will have much better capacity. It won't be a split phase that you have to wait for the other leg from the east-west, and more stacking as you're going up to that intersection
Right,
from
and
60.
probably everything would have to be shifted towards, well, basically towards Salerno's and the old Opa property, right?
It would be, yes.
Some of Turner's property or whatever, you know.
Turner property,
Okay.
exactly.
All right, there's a motion and a second for approval. Is there or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries, or approved. Okay, what are you jumping to, Larry?
Item J, the motor fuel tax fund budget, which is $811,000. The biggest portion of that budget is $700,000 for the road program. This is a 30% reduction from last year's MFT budget, mainly because there's a smaller road program than last year.
What part of town is
We're doing multiple areas in town. We're doing Center Drive, which leads towards the mall, so we'll be improving that road. There was a road we acquired from Baby R Us, the road just to the west. We'll be improving that. Also, we're working on by the Public Works Building, Hawthorne, some of the roadways that were original street dedications back in 93 or so. Yeah, so we're redoing some of those streets. We're also partnering with one of the associations that they're going to improve their private roads, the tails off of the public roads that were dedicated to us. We're working in concert with them. They're going to pull a building permit and have the same contractor do the work. They're paying for their portion, we're paying for ours. We're going to be slightly at arm's reach where it's a separate contract between them and the contractor, but we're doing the inspection. They're going to pull a building permit, so we'll give them first-class service.
Okay.
We're also actually, one other road that we're doing is we're looking to, it's off of Aspen. It's the Aspen and Augusta. It's the southeast corner. There's 4 or so roads in that area. Apollo, a couple of other ones. So we're going to improve those. So we're also hitting some residential area. We're hitting some commercial. So it's a mixed project this year.
Okay.
One thing I want to also add is, in terms of this budget, Manager Ellison, Larry, and I talked before, and there's inclusion of the pavement management study for $40,000. We'd like to forego that this year, and we may be back next year and talk to you about it again, but if we could have a motion that would reduce this by $40,000, that's what we would like to see or recommend.
And what does that actually give us the structural engineering number of some of the roads that need to? Do we have any Pozzolanic?
We do have Pozzolanic roads, the Deer Path,
Oh,
quite a few of them. So, yeah, you may recall back in '97 we had a pavement management study. Then they dynaflect the road to figure out what the strength of the road is below it. One of the things that we want to understand is, with our development spurt, please understand that in 1990, 1997 was when Greg's Landing roads were first built. Greg's Parkway, Huntington. Those are now 3 plus 13, they're 16 years old. So,
Yeah.
you know, they're coming up that we're going to have a glut of the roads that are 20 years old that we went through our
And
development
those were
spurt.
probably built to a higher structural.
They were,
weren't
they were.
Because, I mean, they were boulevards, basically.
They were built to a higher structural number. I think our inspection process, were more than ready for them when they came in. So I think we've done well. So, but we will have a lot of the subdivisions that are turning 20 years old that we'll have to do all at once.
Right.
Our big development spurt of 93 through, you know,
Yeah.
2000 are coming up.
Okay. All right, so is there a motion to approve
And this,
the 2013-14 motor fuel tax budget of $811,000?
with Dave's change, it would be 771,000.
$771,000.
Second?
The motion is second. Roll call.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? President Byrne?
All right. So that comes out to what, about a 40% reduction in the budget?
Well, it's a,
40,000.
yeah, it's
Well, it was
it's
31.
about a 5% reduction in the budget. It was an 811, and so we're taking 40,000, so right around 5% off that budget. So, as opposed to 30, so it makes
Yeah,
it
it's like
about 35.
35.
Yeah, 35%
Yeah, okay.
reduction, I'm
All
sorry.
right, well, motion carries. What next?
Next would be item L, which is the Metro Station Subfund budget. This is a $258,100 budget, $190,000 of which is the parking lot resurfacing that Dave has previously discussed, and that involves drawing down $164,000 of funds restricted for Metro purposes, basically from the proceeds of the parking permits. And then there's another $68,100 that's basically for the operational needs of the Metro Station, contractual services and commodities. Basically the maintenance of the station itself, as well as the parking lot. Snow plowing, electricity, issues like that. Dave, anything you want to say on the operations, or?
No, operations fairly straightforward, similar to past years. The lion's share of it is the $190,000 resurfacing. We're just very pleased knowing what that site looked like before we put a parking lot down the first time. We're just glad that we've received that many years of life off that pavement. It's been 20 years, so.
Everything's getting to be 20 years. Easy. Okay, so this budget is $258,100.
Right.
All right, is there a motion to approve the 2013-14 Metro Station sub-fund budget?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Comments or questions? If none, roll call, please.
Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Motion, aye, motion carries. Items approved.
And the final item that we haven't covered yet is item N as in Nancy, and that's basically the replacement fund. And this year, we're, for the first time in a number of years, we're fully funding the replacement fund, which is about $209,842 of payments from the general fund. There's $195,000 of equipment purchases coming out of this fund, which includes, two vehicles. I'm not sure we've exactly identified them, but We've, in the building divisions, 35,000 for 2 vehicles. And then also 2, basically some truck, let me see. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of the Public Works vehicles, it's a replacement of a 2002 F-150 that one of our engineers has used for inspections. Typically, it'd be an 8-year replacement life. It's been 11 years, so it's due for replacement. So we're proposing to replace that and put a plow on it and put it into the fleet for snowplow services. The other one is a non-passenger vehicle. It's our forestry vehicle, 2002 GMC 2500 4x4. We're looking to replace that also. Again, it's the same age. And then in keeping with trying to keep our fleet longer, we're taking the forestry cherry picker aerial lift, and we're putting it on a new chassis. We're painting it. We're extending the life of that vehicle. It's a 1996. So what we're looking to do is by doing the replacements, we're going to save about $40,000. So those are the 3 vehicles.
Is that the last budget then?
Yeah, that's the last budget.
All right, so, but this one is for 919,
Right.
919,000.
Right, of which 724,000 is budgeted replacement reserves. And basically, that's the way this fund works. We build up reserves, basically to make up for the depreciation costs on the existing fleet.
And you say, what'd you say, we're gonna get 3 vehicles this year?
We're gonna get.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's 2 vehicles that are replacements for the Public Works, for the Community Development, Ford Fusions. This is for one replacement of a F-150, that's a 2002. There's one for a forestry vehicle, that's a little bit bigger piece of equipment, a GMC 2500. We're replacing that. And then the electrical vehicle, the cherry picker, we are taking this 1996 model, we're putting a new, taking apart, putting it on a new chassis, going through the aerials. By doing that and keeping this in our stock longer, we're going to save about $30,000 to $40,000. So instead of asking for a new one, we're going to replenish, refurbish it, and use it longer.
Special.
Dave, going with the 150 instead of a 250, why so much? Because the 250, will the 150 be, it's not going to be used for any snow duty activity, is it, or is it not?
Yeah, the F-150, the actual purchase price of the vehicle is we probably get it for $25,000 or so. We're putting a plow on it and some other things to.
Because I'm just looking at a 150 is a little. The 250 by far gives a little more oomph to it.
Absolutely. We can look into that, see if we have money within this budget to do that. Really, this used to be it's really a replacement for an inspection vehicle, so its larger charge is going to be driving around town doing inspections. We're going to put a plow on it more to help out at the Village Hall parking lot and our other building parking lots. So it won't take the beating that some of the other ones that are on the road all the time. So, good question.
All right, so we need a motion to approve the replacement fund budget in the amount of $919,000.
Second?
Motion is second. Roll call.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. Is there any other business come before committee of the whole?
Are we going to do
Yeah.
Are we do the human service grants or not tonight?
Oh, do we, service grants, when are we gonna do them?
Are we going to do that tonight?
You wanna do it next meeting?
When Trustee Schultz is back, or?
Yeah. Well,
Because
he
he
had
had a
his
couple.
comment.
He
but I
had
think
some comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
made comments last
Well,
week.
just do it
Let's
at the
just hold that one.
first meeting in,
Great.
in April, right?
Right.
I'm sure it'll go through, but
Okay.
I'd rather you.
Is there a motion?
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Atkinson, is there any news on when that sign's going to be fixed for Hobby Lobby, or what are their plans? Just because of seeing Baxter Credit Union signage, I was wondering what they
You
were
know,
doing.
I will find out. I mean, they're waiting for the weather to warm
I
up.
figured that, yeah.
So I would think
Okay.
soon.
Is
But
that
we're, I guess we're
wondering-
predicting the weather. So if I were to guess right now, I'd say the first couple weeks in April.
April that they might.
But as soon as I know for sure, I'll send an
Would
email
you-
through the
thank you.
transmittal packet.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not 80 degrees.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn, committee of the whole?
Second?
Motion is second. Roll call.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebna?
Aye.
President Byrne?
Aye, motion carries. Thank you and good night.
Jeez, I thought this was going to be a long meeting, right when I